Mic is on, and we are live. Hey, and welcome back. Noemi here, co-founder of ScaleWave. Let me quickly also start this session on the Instagram. Go live. Done. Cool, amazing. So hey everyone, and welcome. My name is Noemi. I am the co-founder of ScaleWave. We are a marketing agency specialized in Amazon ads. Today's session is all about answering your hot topics when it comes down to Amazon PPC ads. Certainly, this is an AMA session, so you can ask me anything. But basically, it's all about Amazon PPC. Those are the topics that we're going to prioritize, and all the upcoming questions that are going to be submitted either here via the post a comment section, either through sections that or through questions that already have been submitted. Just letting you know, we are right now streaming on 3 different platforms: LinkedIn, Instagram, and also YouTube. In case that I'm not getting to your question right away, feel free to ask again the question, especially if it's Amazon PPC or Amazon pay-per-click related. If you have any business question, how to hire, how to fire, how to create SOPs, how to ensure that your team is happy, how to make sure that you're not going to do all the mistakes that I did for the past 5 years, feel free to drop them below. I'm going to answer those as well, but I'm going to prioritize Amazon PPC related questions, especially beginner questions. Reasoning: 5 years ago when I started on Amazon, I was running my own brand on Amazon, or our own brand on Amazon, and learned tons of skills, Amazon ads being one of them. Right now, fast forward 5 years, we started an agency, and right now we're helping brands themselves launch successfully on Amazon and also grow market share. All right, that was as fast as I could go through this intro. Hope you're still with me and hope that you're also going to submit your questions. We're 2 minutes in. I'm going to wait 1 more minute until we officially kick off today's session. But basically, it was very good thing that we're thinking, right? So I was thinking of something really important. Usually when I'm coming across brands, I'm discussing with them, they're always having these are my top 10 competitors. I am going to fight against those competitors. Let me share some of my thoughts, because I was just thinking at this, and it's really, really important that you understand what is the difference between competitors and what is the difference between enemies. Example: you are selling in a brand, in a specific category, and you might have 10 products that are quite similar to your product. Maybe you are better positions when it comes to marketing, or you have a better strategist when it comes to advertising, or you simply just are a better business person and you are very good at operations, or you know how to hire better people. That can also become one of your competitive advantages. But let's say that you are against these 10 other competitors who are selling similar products to yours. Now, really important is to understand the difference between competitor and enemies. What I mean: I had the pleasure to also chat with lots of sellers selling on Amazon throughout the past 5 years. And what I noticed, there are these buckets of white hat, gray hat, and black hat tactics, aka on Amazon, right? So things that Amazon allows that are within TOS or terms of service, those will be considered all white hat tactics. Things that are gray hat tactics would be considered everything that is in between the lines. You might have a loophole. There is no certainty, like this is how to do it. Super specific example: Amazon is requiring us to have, for all our main images, a white background. The main image of the product should contain 80% of the screen. Example: this is my beautiful cat mug from my sister. I have it for 12 years. Proof, there it is, the dent. So this has sentimental value for me. Let's say that this is my product. Amazon requires me that this is the product that is going to showcase 85% on the picture, and the rest is going to be white. Now keep in mind that it depends also on categories. Sometimes what can happen is that you might have a product just like this one, or you might have something that is going to be more helpful for someone to check out your product if they're going to showcase it within a certain, if it's a sofa in a living room, what it would look like. So those images, for example, technically are not Amazon TOS compliant, right? But because the category allows it, they are not going to take down and suspend all the listings within the category, but they're going to allow that. So that would be considered a gray hat tactics. Now, black hat tactics is everything that you would do knowingly against Amazon's TOS. Let me explain. So if you know that, for example, you have this competitor on and someone just showed up on the market and maybe you know them and you don't like them, or maybe you want to do harm in any way. So from a wicked point of view, right? Let's say you're going to do something to their listings, either on the backend, you're going to upload keywords that are not Amazon compliant, therefore their listing is going to be suspended, or I don't know, really it depends on how far your mind can go into harming someone. Now, those are black hat tactics. And the way how I would define them is anyone who's executing black hat tactics, I would categorize them into enemies. Why am I telling you this? It's one thing to strategically, knowingly do harm to someone else's listing, and a total different thing to you strategically and with your skill set, wanting to become better than the current competition. I know this might sound just a bit like far off the Amazon PPC topic that today we have this session about, but I was thinking of this because it's really, really important for you to know who is what and what category they are in, and very importantly, how to fight them, against them, or avoid them. Why I'm saying that is because there is, competition is very, very healthy. Competition, if you're thinking this way, I have competitors. I am in the industry of marketing, and within my industry, I have tons of agencies or freelancers who are technically competing for my role as their Amazon PPC account manager of brand X, right? So I have direct competition. I don't have not direct competition. They are direct competition. They are competing, or we are competing, or they and us are competing against each other to get clients, to get brands on. And why I'm saying that is because what I noticed is that while competition is healthy, and this is from a business point of view, competition is really healthy. But if you are facing enemies, so if you're facing people who are actively working against you, to demise you, to just destroy you, that is going to be very, very important for you, how you're going to handle them. Because usually when it comes down to competition, the only way how you can outsmart them is really by you becoming better. Your product becomes better, your packaging becomes better, you're being way better at inventory management, you're being way better at the strategies that you would hire for your whole brand, either advertising, either listing optimization, either creatives, either any aspect of your brand, even if that comes down to freaking operations. Because if operations are not working perfectly, you're only as good as the operations that you are currently running your business on. So if you're going to invest in that, here you might have competitive advantage. But if an enemy comes and attacks you, there's no other way than attacking back exactly in the same way how the enemy. So I'm not saying that you should be mimicking whatever they are doing. I'm saying you have to be aware that there are these tactics out there and there are sellers who are undermining you, and you have to fight against that. And giving you a clear example, look, I am, and maybe this comes across very, very passionately what I'm talking about and so on, but this happened to us with the very first brand that we launched on Amazon. And with the very first brand that we launched on Amazon, what I learned is there is such thing as healthy competition, but I also had enemies. And I had enemies by what they were doing to my listing, technically. They were buying listings, right? Listings that had way more reviews than my listing, for example. And what they did, which is black hat, by the way, like 100% black hat tactics, don't do that. I mean, you're allowed to do it, but then wait until Amazon is going to suspend your whole account, not only your listing. But what they did, they purchased these accounts that had listings that previously were selling, already had like lots of reviews. And then what happened is that Once that they did that, they also switched it within their listing. So basically what they did is they piggybacked on someone else's success on Amazon. They bought their account, or yeah, in this case, I believe their account. And then they started selling products similar to mine, cheaper at least $10 than mine. So clearly I was not dealing with a competitor anymore. I was dealing with an enemy because they were shrewd. They were okay to do everything within their power in order to get to kill my business. So in that case, my action item was there. I cannot be kind to these people. I have to open up as many cases as possible, because these people were technically what they were doing everything that Amazon does not allow, which means is that what they were doing, they were building trust, reviews, aka trust, ratings, aka trust. They were building trust towards customers who were looking on Amazon a product similar to ours, and they were buying with fake things those customers, right? And Amazon is very strict when it comes down to this one. And why I'm sharing this with you is because I just wanted to double check where you are currently right now in this phase. I know that back then when this happened to us, I think it was year 2 of business, year 3 of business, we were successful. People wanted to copy whatever we were doing, right? So that's when this happened, and I noticed that I was like, I cannot do that. I cannot open up cases to through Seller Central and let them know what are these guys doing. These guys were shrewd. They wouldn't care at all if if you're out of business. They wanted to win. Yes, long story short, I'm sharing this with you because I don't know who you are. I don't know who is watching. I don't know when it's going to be this applicable to you. I am telling you right now, no matter what you're doing in business, in life, this is going to happen. You have to understand who is your competitor and respect them, because they're also doing the same thing like you. They want to survive and they want to do their best and perform better. And there's also the enemy that is going to actively come and undermine as much as they can you to kill your success, kill your achievements, kill whatever you build. All right, let's get started. Thank you so much for watching so far. Hey, and welcome. My name is Noemi. I'm going to run this session for the next 1 hour. It is called our Ask Me Anything Amazon PPC session. Basically, you would be submitting all your Amazon related questions and I'm going to answer them all. So already questions have been submitted. Let's get into it. Really, really important, because I do want to make sure that I'm going to prioritize all these questions and answer them, right, to my best knowledge. So you know that I have credibility and actually I know what I'm talking about. For the past 5 years, I've been running my own brand on Amazon. I've been spending on ads on my own brand, which means that it's painful when things are not working fine. And also for the past 2 years, almost 3 years now, we are helping a handful of more of the topper sellers or more of the top sellers selling on Amazon, and we're helping them with advertising. Under my belt, I have around 5 million in ad spend. So whenever I'm going to tell you something, it's not click here and do this. It's not the trick clickbait. It's like I paid actual money from my pocket and from my client's pocket in order for me to now share this info with you. Let's start it. So first question is, how do I keep auto campaigns low cost but effective? The way how you would keep auto campaigns low cost and effective is by understanding what auto campaigns are and where do they fit within the scale of strategy. We're not creating any campaign without knowing what is the strategy that they are within in scale with our agency, the way how we like to structure this, so it's clear both in mind strategically and also for the brand, so we can report to them towards accountability. We are going to understand what auto campaigns are. Auto campaigns are discovery campaigns. Discovery campaigns, their sole purpose, it is to get you cheap sales or relatively cheap sales compared to anything that would be exact match, right? So now that you understand that, and now that you understand in which category do they fit and what is the strategic purpose of it, the way how you would keep down low cost, effective auto campaigns is by controlling them as much as you can. The way how you can control an auto campaigns is first off understanding the techniques, the structural buildup of an auto campaign. Each auto campaign to date, right now, what date is today? February 3rd, 2026. So to date, an auto campaign on Amazon, when you're going to create it in your sponsored product ads, it contains the following. It's the one auto campaign with 4 ad groups on. Those ad groups are always going to be on. And whenever you're going to create the campaign, the way for you to scale this and control it as much as possible is by allowing only one ad group to perform. So in this case, because there are 4 ad groups, so it's auto campaign that has 4 ad groups. It has close match, substitutes, complements, and then loose match. The way how you would create this in order to be as profitable as you can, as effective as you can, is by first off segmenting this. So it's going to be an auto campaign, but leave only the close match on, the rest all pause them. So that way you have only for the close match all triggers, it's coming through close match. You can do this for substitutes, for complements, and for loose match. And always keep just only one ad group active. That is the safest and best way for you to gather data. Now, this is helpful for you if you have a handful of products, maybe 10 products. What if you have a full catalog of 200 plus SKUs? In this case, how you could also set up auto campaigns is having a very, very low bid and creating these catch-all campaigns, which basically means that with a very, very low bid, you would add all the SKUs and see which one would perform better. Keep in mind, we are still talking about low cost and effective auto campaigns. In this scenario, you're not going to only be sure that you're going to have only the one ad group on, but also you're going to double and triple check on the product's performance. Each product that you added within that campaign, how does it perform? If you have clear proof and evidence that out of the 200 products that you added within the campaign, 2 of them are consuming most of the budget, the rest of them don't get impressions. One of them is highly successful. By highly successful, I mean it has at least 5 to 10 orders. And then the rest, they're just consuming budget, but they are not converting. The way how we're going to prioritize in order to make this even more effective is we're going to pause whatever proved already inefficient from spend went through, no sales. That is something that it's clear for you that it's not happening anymore, the campaign. But if spend went through, sales happened, ACOS was high, then you might be thinking, okay, let's give it just more 1-2 shots to see how low can I bring down the bid in order to make that sale possible at my break-even ACOS. That is the way how we would structure and make sure that your auto campaigns are going to be kept low cost and effective. Let me know if that helped. All right, next question. Next question. How much can someone realistically earn as a PPC specialist? Amazing. You can earn from $0 to as much as your mind dares wildly to go. Let me explain. When I started, let's put it that way. So I actually started doing a gig. It was, I took this course. I learned about Amazon PPC. I learned about like how to launch my own product on Amazon. This was 7 years ago, something like that. By that time, we were living in Austria. And in Austria, what I saw so far, it was very hard for me to actually thrive as a successful agency owner and so on and so forth. So what I did on my end, I wanted to get as much possible experience as I could. So yeah, I just saw these jobs. They were looking for someone in social media. And then I was like, okay, I was applying to the job because at that time, it was really a time for me to switch from my current profession, which was music producer, into marketing, And I was like, yeah, I want to learn marketing. I want to get all the jobs possible that it's marketing related because I want to switch backgrounds and learn as much as possible without needing to invest 4 more years in traditional education, right? Long story short, what happened is that I actually found this brand who was selling already on Amazon too, and I did not know that previously. And the first call that I had with this person who was the brand owner, they were saying, oh, look, we need someone for social media and so on and so forth. And then I noticed while I was doing my due diligence and research on them, hey guys, you're selling also on Amazon. And he was like, yes, we are selling and we're making like $20,000, $30,000 per month and so on. Back then, that was like a huge number, especially in on the Amazon Germany marketplace. Bear with me, the story makes sense, and just hear me out. Where do I want to get with this? And I said, okay, great. So I'm seeing that. I had some knowledge when it comes down to Amazon ads. I'm like, I want to test this right away, So I charged very little. I charged $500 for, hear me out, for product listing optimization, for creatives optimization, for running their Amazon ads, and also the back end of the listing. So little did I know that it's going to be so much work. However, I needed something to experience in, something like real world. I know how to actually create a freaking campaign. It's not only just the information that I'm looking at YouTube. So why I'm telling you this is because literally I did that job so cheap, and if I'm looking back now we're like right now in 2026 when I'm recording this, we are not anymore taking on even like full account management. Simple reason because it's actually, if it comes down to that, it's super expensive for the brand to hire us. So we have different setup. But my point is that you can start from the bottom. So you can accept free work and then say, okay, I'm going to do this for free. I'm going to learn on the account. This is still my knowledge. I am still going to apply knowledge. But if you are, for example, a strategist, for me, for example, if I would go to a brand and I'm telling them, hey, I'm still charging that $500 on your account and I'm dealing with 6 and 7 figure brands, they're just going to look at me and it's like, really? And it's like, yeah, that's how much I'm charging. So then you would put in the question of, does this person actually knows what they're doing? Because $500 for the strategy that my account needs, that has 5 marketplaces, 6 marketplaces, highly likely they're not going to be able to manage whatever I'm looking for. And if I'm going to charge the same amount of $500, probably they're not going to take me seriously. So back to you, to your question, how much can someone realistically earn as a PPC strategist? I would advise you, take a step back, look realistically where you are on the journey. Are you a junior? Junior, the way how we are defining them is step by step, SOP follower, no thinking, no nothing. They just know very well how to execute, which is an important skill to have. It's not one of the skills that you have that actually are going to help on account grow. Are you an intermediate PPC manager? Intermediate means that they understand strategy, they can create strategy, they could manage an account, but if it's depending only on them, the account probably is not going to grow. Maybe it's going to become more efficient. Or are you at an advanced level? Now, all the sessions that we have right now, certainly hope after the past quarter, I prove you that my knowledge is based on my skill set. So I am already at an advanced level. I know how to project for this quarter, which are the most important things that we're going to talk about with the brand, what are the things they should prioritize, what are the things they should not prioritize, right? So I am thinking of myself right now as an advanced strategist level. For an advanced strategist, you can literally ask for as much as you believe that you can help the brand grow, and they're going to pay you, right? Of course, you're not going to ask for something that is like, pay me 5 million because I can do this, and you're not able to do it. So if you're going to play in the courtyard of businesses who are doing 20, 30, 50, 100 million, and you're asking for your 5 million, probably they might be considering you. But if you are targeting clients that are 5 figure, 6 figure, even 7 figure, I'm not going to consider you. So let me know if that answered the question, but this is the way how I would realistically just sit back and understand what my value is. Because most of the time what I'm seeing is that junior to intermediate people, they're just going to apply for advanced positions. And then honestly, right now in my company, I'm like 2 weeks in, you did not show me that you're advanced, you're charging me for an advance, payment, you're out. So that's why I'm saying it's really, really important for you to understand where you are and based on that to realistically charge. Third question. Question is, how do I identify keywords that drive high sales? How do I identify keywords that drive high sales? First thing that we would do in Scalable is downloading your last 30 days report and see what works, what doesn't work, what should be paused, what should thrive as their new campaign, and which are things that we should negate. So when it comes down to identifying keywords that what works and brings high sales, I would first define it. What means for you to have a keyword that drives high sales? One order is not high sale. Let's be blunt. Yeah. So it has to be at least 5 to 10 orders per keyword for you to make sense and consider it that is a keyword that brings you high sales. Now, once that you downloaded the report, also my YouTube channel, check out the search term reports, pivot table, and so on that I'm offering for free as like free education. Check it out so you have a better understanding without us going through a 30 minutes full education session. Check that out, and that is going to help you understand better how you would be doing that. But basically what we're looking for is clear patterns that a keyword work well for you, and then we're trying to mimic whatever worked well for you by creating its own new campaign. Next question. What does a successful PPC product launch look like? Product launches. I know, it's painful. Product launch is one of those things that when it comes down to product launch, people are always assuming it's always PPC related. Let's step back and get some clarity. A successful PPC product launch looks like something like this. First off, you have inventory at least for 2 to 3 months to cover, because then you're setting up yourself for success. No matter how well your ads are going to perform, your bottleneck is inventory. So check mark, you already have inventory. I'm not even going to go through the product itself and then the listing. I'm assuming in this case that it's stellar. 99% of the brands that we're talking to, it's not the case. So again, look through that. Make sure that your listing is going to hit your ICP. Because if it's not hitting the ICP on the ad side, what we're doing, we're just bringing traffic, bringing eyeballs to your listing that is not for the ICP. Hence, we're just going to get you clicks that are not converting. So that is the second thing. The third thing, when it comes down to a successful PPC launch, I would say depending a lot on your budget, how much budget you can realistically allocate to it is going to define your success or not. Allow me to clarify. When you have a $5,000 budget per month, even if $5,000 might seem a lot, I know for sure that $3,000 for me 5 years ago when I started my brand and started advertising, like, oh my gosh, this is twice my rent. So if you have a $5,000 budget allocated to advertising, and if you're in the supplements niche, I would say rather don't advertise, So why I'm saying that is because one click can go up to from $5, $10, $20, $50 per click, which means that if you're going to have, even if you have 5 keywords that you're targeting, ad spend is just going to pile up. And what you're going to end up with, you're going to get a lot of information that is, it might not even be helpful, because it's going to get you either false positives, either false negatives on what works and what does not. So it really depended on the category. But these are the 3 main pillars that I'm seeing that a successful PPC product launch would depend on. What it's going to look like, it really depends on the first 2 points. Mm-hmm. 30 minutes in. Okay, I went through 4 questions. I'm going to get this just a bit faster, okay? So when should I use broad match targeting? You should be using broad match targeting in case that your strategy, it is discovery campaigns. For discovery campaigns, we are allowing Amazon to showcase our product for everything that at least has the one keyword, or even broad match is very, very tricky nowadays, because even if you're selecting broad match, there's also a highly likely chance that none of the keywords within your broad match phrase is going to showcase within the search term. So when should you use broad match? You should use only whenever you're creating discovery campaign and you are allocating as little as possible on each bid, and then see what is the conversion going to be. For broad match, I would highly recommend you to have a strong negative keyword list in place. Otherwise, you're going to bleed lots of money. Next question. How can I reduce my PPC costs without losing sales? How can I reduce my PPC costs without losing sales? That's the question. Okay, I might need just a bit of tea before I'm continuing. This is one of the questions that immediately I know how to answer, and it's like right now it's like blank. All right, stay with me. I'm going to answer. How can I reduce my PPC cost without losing sales? The easiest way for you to reduce your PPC cost while keeping the same amount of sales is by removing wasted ad spend. Defining wasted ad spend. Wasted ad spend means that it's not anymore in the strategy that you created for the account for that specific campaign, or it's clearly showing that you tried to gain additional market share but were unsuccessful. Let's say 50% of your ad spend goes into these gaining more market share campaigns, and you just see that, hey, this is not working for me. Those keywords that probably were a year, 2 years ago helpful for me to get sales are not anymore. I'm not anymore in a competitive advantage against my competition. So those would be my go-to things in order for me to make sure that I'm reducing my PPC costs. That is a waste. Another way how you can reduce this, it goes hand in hand with the first step, is going to be opening up all the campaigns that currently are running within your account, assuming that you have more than one campaign. If you had the one campaign, go nuts on the one campaign. But the way how you would do this is open up the campaign and see what are you currently targeting and what are you not currently targeting. Really important. What are you currently targeting? If you have clear signs that there are you have multiple products within one campaign and multiple products that are just bleeding money. There's the one product that maybe it brings 2 orders for the total of 30 days or 5 orders for the total of 30 days. Those would be the targets that you would be, or products in this case. Those would be the products that you would be still keeping enabled. The rest of the products that are either hemorrhaging money, so they're just like getting clicks, no sales, either they just stay there, stand alone, and just live happily enabled, do not generate anything, pause them. Quick tip, and you're going to thank me later. Why am I telling you this? Is because we recently, almost 2 months ago, took over an account where this was the case. So they had a lot of campaigns, 9,000, 10,000 campaigns, something like that, active campaigns. And what we did first on our end is we trimmed down everything, right? So when it comes down to trimming, only the wasted ad spend, that was the first thing that we paused right away. Mistake that I learned on my own, and I want to share it with you. And this was recent. So we also left in a few targets that had, like, they were enabled, but there was no traffic on them, right? And then we were thinking, okay, if there's no traffic, if there's no, they are not getting clicks and so on, it's not going to bother anyone. Wrong. It's not what happened. So what happened, and this is in 2-3 days period time, and keep in mind we are every day in that account. We're opening up everything and like checking everything, and still slipped through. What happened is that one of the product targets, were active. We paused everything that did consume from that campaign, and we left a handful of products that literally had no data. And we said, okay, let's give it a try and see how they are going to perform, if they're ever going to perform. It was so hard to find this product, and then the way how we actually found it is like, okay, we did not know what is going on. ACA still kept high, and we did not know what happened. One of the products picked up, I don't know how or so on, probably just because there was more, there was traffic and it was not competing against other terms or other products. That product took up the second in ad spend for that 2-3 days. And like, oh my God, how did we, or why did we even consider that this product should be still enabled? Keep in mind, this is my 5 years of experience. I did not know this just because it did not happen beforehand. It was not neglect. Everything was well prepared. And why I'm sharing this with you is because you on your end, even if you're very well prepared, what can happen is that there are unknowns that you don't have any control of, but your mission here is to learn and iterate as fast as you can. So on our end, right decision, wrong decision. It would have been a right decision what we just did. So we noticed in 2-3 days, this was the ad spend. We also notified the brand owner, and then we could provide accountability, transparency, letting them know, look what happened. It's realistically not neglect, but what happened is just a product picked up out of the blue. Now we know we have a strategy in place. This is never going to happen again. Or what you can do is like have the product on and just leave it on and just leave it on and just like let it consume budget. So this is why I'm saying that even after 5+ years, you can learn stuff, and humility is the main. Humility and teachability are the two main skills that you can have as an ad manager. That was a very long answer, but certainly hope that now you understand how should or why should broad match campaigns be structured and included and when. Cool. How do I use PPC to grow sales in the UK market? The same way how you would use it in any other market. Create the campaign, have a strategy behind, create the campaign, gather results, see how it works. Also, quick note, if you're already selling in the US market and you're expanding to the UK market or the CA market, the same keywords are not going to perform the same way because people are asking or saying or defining things in different ways. Heads up, only branded terms are going to convert with exactly the same wording. Other keywords might be totally called differently, right? So parchment paper versus there was one of these questions. There was another way how you would call this in UK. Just heads up there because that's something that we notice on our end. What's the right PPC strategy for launching a new product? Have an amazing product, talk to your ideal customer. So if your ICP, it's not fixed and it's not targeted, you are going to bring additional eyeballs to something that it does not work. How do I properly analyze PPC reports without getting overwhelmed? I did got this question a while back. I'm still happy to answer it. The way how you would do this is very easily. Oh, Raul joined. Hi, welcome. Hope that you're still there. How can I tell if, the question was, how do I properly analyze PPC reports without getting overwhelmed? Make sure that you're going to set up the proper background for yourself, not get overwhelmed. Meaning, if you don't have clear KPIs that you're following, you're going to follow all the KPIs. If you are following all the KPIs, there's a high likelihood that you're going to be overwhelmed. In our agency, the way how we're not even looking at anything else, right? When it comes down to ads, we're looking at the following factors. How much did we spend? How much sales did it made? How many orders did we got? And what was our ACOS? 4 freaking metrics. I'm not talking about CVR. I'm not talking about impressions. I'm not talking about clicks. I'm not talking about new to brand. I'm not talking about anything like that. Those are great, but those are sub filters of the main filters. If you don't have answer for these 4 questions, you're missing the whole point. It does not matter how smart you are. So the 4 points answer, and then based on the ACOS, you will see, all right, is this within my current strategy? Because if the ACOS is 100% and your plan is to get as many sales as possible and then dial down from there, 100% ACOS, it's still a winner because it made that sale. Now you have data on what works, how it works, and how efficient things are, right? If that ACOS is under your break-even ACOS and here break-even ACOS, it might be your break-even ACOS is 20% and that you get sales 50% ACOS. That means that keep up the good work, keep that campaign running, allocate additional budget to it, allocate attention to it. But those would be the first things that I would look into. I would not even look into anything else just because, again, now I know better. I wish anything that I'm telling you, I wish that someone told me 5 years ago, so I don't have to learn from my own mistakes. How can I tell if my ads are truly working? I just answered literally 5 seconds ago to a very similar question. It's phrased differently, your question, but it's basically the same thing. How can you tell if your ads are truly working or not? Are you making sales? No. Are you getting eyeballs to your listings? That means your ads are properly set up and working. If you're not getting any impressions at all, probably you're bidding too low. So in that case, you would increase your bids and ensure that you freaking get clicks. If you're not getting clicks, there's no chance for you to get an order. Next question. Can I run PPC for an already established brand? Yeah, so the question is, can I run PPC for an already established brand? 100% you can. I'm not sure what would be, can you run for the, yeah. Yeah, so the question is, can you run ads for an already established brand? Yes, of course you can. The idea would be to, if it's an already established brand, probably you have brand recognition and probably you already have search volumes on Amazon. What I would be doing in this case, I would first start my brand defense strategies, simply because that if you are already well established, people are going to attack your listing. So, because you already have the eyeballs from external channels. In this case, you already have the search volume, so people actively are looking for your brand. And in that case, they would be advertising on your products and on your branded terms. This is, by the way, a strategy that we're applying at scale with. It's called Conquer. We're going to piggyback on everyone who's not taking advantage on being strategical about protecting their brand. Okay, next question. We're 41 minutes in, 20 more minutes. How do I relaunch a slow selling product using PPC? You would treat it as any other product. Let's zoom out just a bit for clarity, because I believe that, and especially because they're also beginners and like asking beginner questions, I believe that most of the time it's so hard for us to understand what a product relaunch is. It's not a big deal. What you're doing right now is you already have imagine you have a service or you have a business in place. Imagine you have a retail store in place, and there are already some clients coming in, but what you would like to do is really get as much market share as you can and, to reposition yourself. And what you would be doing in that case, you would be running additional marketing. Now, what you can do besides running additional marketing is, let's say you are a minimalistic design store, but your actual, the layout of the store and like how you're presenting yourself, it's not coming across as you're really a minimalistic design store. It's coming across as if you're this old mom and pop shop who barely can afford to live and so on. It's like you can clearly see that they are struggling and you're this minimalistic. Now, whoever chooses minimalistic design, they already have one specific taste. Or Scandinavian design, they already have one specific taste. And that is not equal to cheap, cheap and low quality and so on. So there's going to be a differentiation between ones that they are entering their store, no matter how good your products are, if the layout, if the atmosphere, if the smell, if it smells bad in the store, you're going to give that as first impression. So keep in mind that if you're going to sell on Amazon and that is the bad smell, idea that I just explained, if that bad smell is still on the product that you're selling, it looks old, it looks like, you probably would not buy that, or only people who are trusting you and they have been your customers for a while, only they are going to buy that. What you're doing is you are missing out on a lot of potential and potential sales, potential market revenue. So this is the same way how I would see how would you relaunch a slow selling product using PPC. You would do it the same way. You would look up, first off, you would improve your listing. Otherwise, with the same listing, you're just throwing more money into something that already you see that's not really working, right? So you would improve your listing. Once that you improve your listing, your product detail page and your A+ content, and also you would add videos to your listing itself. Now already looks better, right? So you're going to bring additional eyeballs to your listing, but that would be my go-to when it comes down to how would you do that. Let me know if that helped. Next question is, how do I get my ads to show in top placement? You would use placement modifiers. The way how you would find these is once that you're going to log in within your ad console, you would go to and open up a campaign, and within the campaign you would see a section that says placements, and you would go there and you would check out which are the best placements that your product is selling well, that are bringing most orders under your break-even ACOS. And those are the placements that you would first focus on. I personally, or we at Scale with the way how we're doing it, we never increase placements for multiple placements, but we always keep only one placement. The reason for that is because we want to have as much control as we can when it comes down to placement management. So if I'm doing exactly the step-by-step process, I'm logging within my ad console, I'm opening up the campaign, I'm opening up the bid adjustment section, I'm looking at the placement, and in the placement section, I'm seeing the top of search is performing best for me. It had 20 plus order. The rest, it had 20 plus order at 20% ACOS. The rest of the placement had less amount of orders at higher ACOS or even lower ACOS, but not as many orders. Then what you would be doing, you are taking top of search placement, and then we would add additionally 50, 100, 200%, whatever you're comfortable with and makes sense for you. Let it run and do check in the next 2 to 3 days that actually that happened within your account. Why? It's because there's no guarantee that the moment that you're going to increase your placement modifiers on specific placement, you are actually going to get more eyeballs to that placement. This is for real whenever we are going through our daily optimization, like the daily history log process, which basically on our end means that we're checking in on the account, seeing if everything still works and if any new campaigns were created or any campaigns where we added specific placements, we're looking, did I move the needle? Did the 100% placement modifier I just placed yesterday, did I got more traction for that particular placement? If it did not, it means that it was not successful. So what we're going to do is, if you're comfortable with the ACOS and it's below your expected ACOS or break-even ACOS, you would increase even more placement. The goal is that we are going to increase orders for that placement while keeping around the same ACOS. Let me know if that helped. Alrighty. We have a few more questions here in the chat. Today the chat is super slow. Like 2 weeks ago, I'm going just a bit slow although I should answer questions. Okay, I'm letting you know very quickly, okay? I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, because these are also like publicly shared sessions, the chat just gone wild, crazy, and like people like, are you AI? Are you not AI? So it was so funny. It was so funny to see that, and that actually helped a lot with conversion because we got a lot of subscribers. So now the chat is not as intense as it was that time, but it was really cool to see like when people are going all on top. Okay, how do you call it? Squirrel brain off. Let's get into topics strategy because we still have questions. Next question, how do I change the spending limit for my Amazon PPC campaigns? Very easily. First off, we want to understand spending limit on PPC campaigns. Are we referring to daily budget? Daily budget also is a limit. Are we referring to total overall budget on a portfolio level? You add your portfolio, then the portfolio becomes the bottleneck, or here spend limit on your total ad spend. Or if we're going on account level, and here Amazon, it's only allowing for sponsored products to have specific thresholds, up to 20, from 25% higher to up to 100% higher. Those are the 3 levers that you have right now. So in that case, you would just look into which is the actual budget that I want to change, and then you would just go ahead and change the spending limit on that. Next question, how do I set up sponsor display ads so they are profitable? Sponsor display ads can be profitable, But I just want to make sure that you understand how those sponsored display ads work and what is their purpose within overall strategy. Because I don't want you to believe that sponsored display ads is something that you should be investing 80 to 9% of your ad budget, which is not the case. So technically, if we're zooming out for clarity, we're seeing that even if sponsored display ads are not profitable, they're going to seem profitable just because they are such a small portion of the account. So that would be a way how to control this, like, hey, I'm trying out sponsored display ads, see how it works. And then on an account level, compared to all the match types that I'm running within the campaign, those would still take the least amount of spend. Therefore, they are going to be or come across as actually profitable. Now, the specific ways how you could select only the one thing to control. So, for example, if you have set up a 7-day lookup window, have only that setting on, and don't mix them with a 30-day or a 60-day, or even don't mix them audiences that I advertised for and audiences that I not advertised for. Those would be the most technical ways how you could go about it and make sure that are going to become more profitable. But that's how we would do it. Next question, how can I use Amazon PPC together with Helium 10 to get more sales? Helium 10 is one of the software that we're also using in the agency, and Helium 10 basically is going to help you get a good track of what works for your competition and also get a better understanding on what works for your listings. The way how we would be using Helium 10 to understand, first off, we would be using it to understand our own listings, because sometimes what can happen is that for certain search terms, you might be making sales or search certain keywords that you're not actively tracking. You might be ranking organically high, therefore that's also going to affect your PPC sales. How we would strategize is we're looking, how does this help? So we would run a cerebro on our own listing and see which are the keywords that right now I'm ranking highest on that I'm not advertising for, right? And those would be just good, take a note, because if you're within page 10, that means if you're within placement 10 on the first page, that means that you're already doing well. Now the question is going to be, if you're going to push with more advertising that placement, are you going to get additional organic sales or not? That would be the question. But first route we would take is we want to understand what is happening on our listings and that we're not piggybacking yet on, and we should. Once that we got answer to that, then we're moving to competitors and see how do they perform, which are the keywords that they are using, which are the keywords that we are not using that they are, where do they have competitive advantage. There's a ton of content on Helium 10. I'm not going to even go into it, but what is really important, what I'm noticing strategically, people are going to see it as look at competitors. No, look at what works or not for your current listing, piggyback on that, and once that you apply that, look at competitors. That's how we prioritize. Question is, how do I add negative and positive keywords properly in Amazon PPC? Not quite sure about positive keywords. There's no such thing. There are negative keywords. By positive keywords, what I assume you are talking about is search term that previously converted well on Amazon, and you found them in your search term reports and you're thinking of adding them within new campaigns or current campaigns. Let me know if that is not the case. I'm still here, right? But that is the way how I would think about this. Now, the way how you could add negatives, you can add negative on a campaign level or ad group level. It's really up to you, your choice. Usually we have the one campaign, the one ad group, and then within that ad group we have keywords. For us, it's more effective if we're going to do everything on an ad group level, adding negatives to ad groups. You do you. If for you it's easier to add it on a campaign level, if you have multiple ad groups, do it that way. For us internally, it's making more sense to do it to add negatives on an ad group level, just because that's the system that we have right now in place. So it's nothing wrong about doing it one way or another. Your question about positive keywords, aka here I am rephrasing it to search terms. The way how you would add that, normally what we are seeing on our end, we don't like to add these within the same campaign that they are already running in, because that way you're altering the performance of the campaign. Now, yes, if you're going to create a totally brand new campaign and you're going to add that keyword within the campaign and then you're trying to mimic how it performed in the previous campaign, highly likely it's not going to perform the same way. But what you have now, it's control. So now instead of 10 keywords or 10 search terms that perform really well for you from that one keyword, you have way more control on where does your ad spend go. Let me know if that helped. Next question. 5 more minutes in. We have 4 questions. Can we answer to them? Let's see. When is the best time to increase or decrease bids in Amazon PPC? The best time to increase or decrease ads? No. The best time to increase or decrease bids in Amazon PPC is going to depend highly likely on seasonality, highly likely on what your product is, and highly likely on usually when would someone buy this product. If it's a seasonal product, probably no matter how high are you bidding, they're not going to be interested in buying the product. If it comes down to time of the day, when are they going to buy the product, think of it this way. Is it an urgency related product? So aka someone wants to buy that right away, or is it a wishful, that decor items, those products, someone can be adding it. We're just going to move soon. So I'm looking at everything that is furniture and so on. I'm clicking within the ad because that's how I'm finding the product. So I'm clicking within the ad and then I'm saving it for later, and that way I can return to it. So technically, even if I convert as a customer, you would have a false positive just because I clicked today on it, but I'm going to buy it in 2 months. And I might be buying it at 9 o'clock p.m., but I clicked today at 2 o'clock p.m. on that. So that's why I'm saying it really depends on that. Let me know if that answers your question. 4 more minutes. Okay. Going to get good at this. I'm going to answer all the questions. Great. Cool. So the next question is, how do I see which keywords actually generate sales in my PPC campaigns? Go to your search term, go to measurements in your ad console, and then download your search term reports. Also, make sure that you're going to go through my whole YouTube channel and find a video called search term reports or pivot table or something. It has the keyword search term in it, I know, because I wanted to rank on that on YouTube. So find that, and that is going to explain clearly what it means to find the good keywords that generated sales for you. Next question, how can I use PPC to increase my product's visibility on Amazon? Start the freaking campaign. That will be the best way. Now, seriously, have a good strategy and good, clear understanding of why are you starting a campaign. Most campaigns fail, not because the outcome or the performance, but people don't know why they are starting them. And even worse, they're getting false hopes that they know what they're doing just because something worked well, and they don't know how to replicate it. So when it comes down to this, what I would do is I would first make sure that I am clear about, do I want to get more eyeballs to my listings? Then I'm going to have the strategy of, yes, on the short run, it's going to cost me more, but on the long run, it's going to become more and more profitable. If I have the strategy, I want to get more market share, then I would have no problem with spending more if I'm converting well. Now, you will have one specific threshold when, say, you have total $10,000 allocated for your ad spend, your $5,000 in, you barely produce sales. That is going to give you an answer and data to something else. Either it's very competitive, the niche, either your product is really not well positioned, either it's totally irrelevant, the keywords that you're bidding on. But that would be the gist of it. Let me know if it helped. All right, one more question, last one, and we're almost done. Great. How do I find strong product category keywords for Amazon PPC? I'm not quite sure what do you mean by strong product category keywords for Amazon PPC, but let me tell you what your question makes me think. The first thing when I'm hearing it, it makes me believe that you're asking about products that are within a certain category. And if so, again, share more details in the chat. Wait. Instagram has disconnected stream. They currently disconnected stream after 1 hour. Okay, good to know. So, too bad. Bye bye, Instagram people. It was nice to have you here. Okay, so back to the question again. I'm going to repeat it, and I'm just going to make sure that it's answered properly. How do I find strong product category keywords for Amazon PPC? That is the question. And the way how I'm seeing it right now, without clearly understanding what are you referring to, but believing that you're referring to this specific aspect, I'm going to answer. Feel free to write me in the chat if this is not the question. The way how you would do this, you would understand first off product category, and then the easiest way for you to target product categories, specific categories, is by creating sponsored product ads. And then when it comes down to choosing between keywords and products, you're going to choose products. And once that you've chosen products, you would be going and selecting specific categories within within Amazon. And that is the way how you would be selecting specific categories you want to target via your ads. That would I go to. All right, 1 straight hour. We still have 3 more people at least here on LinkedIn enjoying this session. So thank you so much for watching. It was an absolute pleasure. Again, my name is Noemi. I'm the co-founder of Scalewave. We are an agency specialized in helping brands between 5, 6, and 7 figures successfully scale on Amazon and generate revenue. Now, if you're watching this and not sure what is going on with your ads, more than happy to offer you a free account audit when it comes down to that, what we're going to do on our end. So there's full transparency. It is a no strings attached offer that this is something that we're doing for everyone who's reaching out, basically checking out if you're a good fit for us, and if we're a good fit for you, we'll be taking a look at your current ad performance, and then based on that, we would see, hey, how can we help in order to achieve your goals? If we're not a good fit, more than happy to share all that value with you and, just pay it forward. If you believe that we are going to be a good fit to help you achieve the success and the goals and the revenue goals, targets you may have, feel free to, sign us up, have us take a look of whatever it goes on in your Amazon ads account, and then of course help you achieve those goals. Again, it was a pleasure to have you on. These sessions are on a weekly basis. Next Tuesday I'm going to be back at 1 p.m. EST time, streaming online right now from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you on the next session. Till then, be good, be brave, and be responsible, and you are going to have lots of success. Don't forget that you're playing this for the long game. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.